folks, Roland Martin here. We are live in New Orleans for the 49th annual Bayou Classic between the Grambling State Tigers and the Southern Jaguars. Folks, it is an overcast day here. The rain sort of coming in right now. It's windy, breezy out here. It is not warm. You normally think about New Orleans. It is warm, but of course, the weather here, the parade is actually going on as we speak. Game time is actually in about 2 hours, taking place at 1 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Eastern. And so we're here in the Fan Fest zone here. And, of course, traffic is steadily picking up. Normally, the folks really come in around 12 o'clock, 12:30, the closer you get to game time. And so we are here. You can hear the people behind me on the concert stage as well. Different folks who are performing out there. And so, again, folks are coming in. You got some folks over there who are, line dancing, and that always happens. It has been, of course, quite a festive atmosphere as dedicated fans from both universities, Grambling and Southern, are here for the annual Bayou Classic. Many could call the granddaddy of all of the HBCU classics. And so we are here with the folks from General Motors. You see, of course, their booth behind us. Got people who are signing up for electric vehicles, things along those lines, doing test drives and getting more information on that. And so in the next hour and a half, we're going to be talking with the folks from General Motors about their work with the Southwestern Athletic Conference, HBCUs, as well. In addition, we'll be hearing from both university presidents, athletic directors, as well as the head coaches of both of the teams, Grambling and Southern as well. Again, folks were coming in Wednesday and Thursday. Yesterday, they had, of course, the coaches' luncheon. We were there where a lot of those interviews took place. We also, of course, again, today, a lot of events last night, receptions and parties as well. So we were out and about last night, stuff taking place all around the city. Then, of course, folks, the Battle of the Bands last night as well. And then, of course, the game time today, as I said, at 2 p.m. Eastern at 1 p.m. Central. And so a lot of things happening, a lot of folks happening. And so what I want to do is, in a moment, I'm going to chat with one of the GM executives. And so I'm going to holler at my man, Scotty. Scotty, come here. I'm going to holler at my man, Scotty. Hold on. I'll ask Scotty for 1 second. I'm going to ask Scotty for 1 second. Hold on, Scotty for 1 second. Yeah. So then, so Scotty, come over here. Scotty right over there. And then David Miller, G, is with General Motors as well. David, go ahead and put this on. And so, there you go. All right. All right, David. So tell folks who you are. Gotcha. All right, so you got your HBCU alum shirt. You graduated from?
Graduated from the pride of the Swift Roaring South. For y'all who don't know that, it's Mother Tuskegee, a.k.a. or better known as Tuskegee University.
Okay, I didn't hear that one, Mother Tuskegee. You're going to have some folk sitting there. There's some other people in Alabama who might disagree with you. Alabama A&M, Alabama State, Talladega, Tougaloo. It's a bunch of other schools that might say, you might want to slow down.
Well, the good part, Roland, is that I'm actually a product of one of those institutions, or my parents are a product of one of those institutions. My parents met over 60 years ago now at a SWAC school at Alabama State University. So they're two-time graduates, graduated in 67, and also got a master's degree, both of them from Alabama State in 1973.
See, that's why you can't be talking all that Tuskegee stuff, because they probably will correct you. They like, pump your brakes. They like, pump your brakes.
Well, I think my parents are just happy that I decided to attend a HBCU, and that when I went to attend Tuskegee, that, in those 8 semesters, I got all that I could out of it.
8 semesters?
8 semesters.
8?
That's it.
You graduated on time?
Of course.
All right, just checking.
With honors.
Just checking. Because a lot of folk don't graduate on time, whether they go to HBCU or PWI.
Well, Roland, I certainly had a plan. So
Yeah, their plan was to get out. that was my plan. My parents like, we don't do no 5-year stuff. You got to graduate and get out so you can actually get a job.
For sure.
So now, what's your major there?
So I majored in sales and marketing at the Andrew F. Bremer School of Business.
Gotcha. So in terms of your work operating corporate America, how have you made sure that where you have been, that was a commitment to HBCUs?
Well, really, it just all started with being coachable. It was a saying that I came across while I was in business school at Tuskegee, is that seek perfection, but certainly embrace correction. So if people want to pour into you, allow them to do that, be coachable, and if individuals trust you, then you can impart yourself into different corporate processes. So it's absolutely been great that I've gotten a chance to join a team at General Motors that is really leaning into HBCU partnerships.
And when you say leaning into, how so?
Well, we're in the second year of our partnership with the SWAC. And, of course, for all of you who know, the SWAC is one of the largest HBCU conferences that's out here. And, again, just the activation that we have here today just represents that. But it's not just about activations, of course. We also have internship programs, have a partnership with the National Newspaper Publishers Association called the Chevrolet Discovery Unexpected Program. And we just finished our 6th year of the program, and we had representatives from 6+ HBCUs interning, and that was across 11 students.
And so in terms of, you talk about the internships, give me a sense of other folks within the company who you've connected with, who are HBCU graduates, and how they also ensure that their university is also being supported. Because we've seen, really in the past 2 or 3 years, to the death of George Floyd, even greater commitment when it comes to African Americans, black organizations, but specifically HBCUs.
Okay, so certainly a host of HBCU graduates. You'll speak to one later today who is a manager of general support. Jackie Vessel is a graduate of Southern University. And General Motors really had the distinction of having one of the highest ranked HBCU graduates and highest ranked black executives, Ed Wellburn, who is a Howard graduate, and he led our global design department for years. So General Motors has had a long history of partnering with HBCUs, and I certainly do my best to ensure that, not only can we have all HBCUs represented, but if there's ever an opportunity to bring more individuals from Tuskegee University into the fold, I do my best to do that.
So one of the things that, look, let's see, 107 HBCUs. I've spoken at 65 of them, travel around the country. And one of the things that we're seeing a dramatic increase with enrollment. Tennessee State's numbers have blown up. A number of schools' numbers are dramatically increasing. And so I take it as an HBCU graduate, that's certainly news that you like to hear.
Of course.
And so one of the things that also jumps out is the connection, the programs that are being created from a lot of companies directly with universities to bolster business schools and things along those lines. And so just share your thoughts on that in terms of, again, how important to have direct connections when it comes to helping develop business school programs and anything along those lines. And so let's say whether it's Tuskegee or somewhere else.
I'm sorry. Repeat the question.
In terms of what we're also seeing, the sort of the direct connection that companies are making with business schools, communication schools, things along those lines. And so it's not just sort of this broad, hey, we support HBCUs, but really sort of a targeted effort. Reverend Jackson's been very involved in driving companies, Silicon Valley, with HBCUs as well, because that's untapped talent.
Well, we have a host of partnerships, but again, the reason why we're here today is to lean into the partnership that we have with SWAC. This is our 6th activation, and we've been happy to
When we say six this year,
Yes.
at other homecomings or other games?
For sure.
Got
For sure. But a part of the SWAC partnership is not just showing up and activating, but when it's opportunities to hire talent in terms of internships and look to participate in those various career fairs, certainly look for opportunities to do that. And so it's not just about activating. It's also about wanting to hire this diverse talent, because one of the good parts about the SWAC is that many of these schools are land-grant institutions. So you know that they are heavily based in STEM. And when we think about the wide array or the largest concentration of jobs that are available within General Motors, they are all STEM-based. So whether it's engineering, manufacturing, also computer science-based roles. So that partnership really, really makes sense for us.
But you also have other areas. I mean, look, you got sales, you got marketing, you got communications. And so that's one of the things that, as I travel around the country, somebody doesn't necessarily, they might see a General Motors and only think this one thing, but no, there are multiple types of jobs. So it's not just if you're in engineering or in STEM. I say the same thing in media. I was talking to somebody, she was a marketing major, and it never dawned on her to apply for a marketing job at a media company. I'm like, yeah, we got marketing jobs. But she was only thinking PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, companies along those lines. Wasn't thinking outside of that area.
Correct. And just going back to this Discover the Unexpected program that I spoke about that we have with Chevrolet, the focus of this program is to hire students that have a business track. So that could be students that have a marketing background or a business administration background, but also leans into hiring communications majors for internships. So
cool. All right then. Well, sounds good. It's a little damp out here, so be sure to stay dry. Hopefully the rain won't get too bad. I was in Texas last couple of days, and rain was coming down pretty fierce. But hopefully, once the rain stays off, people coming in from the parade, we'll definitely see more folks coming through here. David, I appreciate it. Good luck with this. And who you pulling for today?
Well, I'm just pulling for a strong game here.
Oh, you're trying to be all safe with the answer.
Well, I will say this. Grambling's first president is Tuskegee University graduate. But then one of my first interactions with a non-Alabama State SWAC band was in 1994 when Southern came to play in Montgomery. So both institutions have a good place in my heart. So I really mean that I do just wish for a very competitive game.
Oh, I got you. Look, I've spoken at both, and they keep asking me who am I pulling for, and I told them I'm pulling for a tie. That's what I told them. But the Southern people, they're a little salty with me. They keep saying, we're tired of seeing you wearing Grambling stuff on the air. And I said, well, look, y'all hadn't sent me gear. And last year, the president, he made a mandate. I'm going to personally present him some Southern gear. So I told him but they've been sweating me. I was like, look, that wasn't on me. So I told him, I said, so looking for a great game, but let's hope for a tie. I appreciate it.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
much, Roland.
I appreciate
All
it.
right.
All right. Hey, folks, let's do this here. Let's get a camera over here. Looks like is it one of the high school bands? Let's see if we can get a shot of the band performing over here. They're performing on the steps over here. I'm trying to see. Obviously it has to be one of the high schools here in New Orleans. And so we're going to get a shot of that. And then looking forward to it. So y'all can actually hear the band. And like I said, the parade is parade's been going on. And so there are bands that have been performing in the parade, and some are coming over here. And so they're performing over there on the steps. If we can get us a shot, that'll be great. Can we take it in further? Let's just hear them a bit. All right, folks, again, we're here at the 49th annual Bayou Classic, Grambling versus Southern. And rain is now coming down. They told us it was going to be happening about this time, and so hopefully it's going to blow past. I'm going to pull the radar up in a second so we can get a shot of that. But it is, it's always, you hate when it is raining because that way folks don't necessarily want to come out. But, again, it's coming down right now pretty steady. We thought we were staving it off for quite some time. But that is not the case. So it is here. In just a second, we're going to do this here. Let's talk about a little sports. My man Scotty with Off Script TV. Scotty is here. Scotty's going to put the headset on right now, and glad to see him. And so, Scotty, look, this is going to be it was a close game last year, exciting, thrilling game. Grambling wins it on the last second. Yeah. Both teams have had a tough year. Tough year to say the least. What do you think happens today? Because obviously, the records before today go out the window.
They go out the window. I mean, in a rivalry game, you already know what it is. You put the records away. You put whatever happened this season away. If you're high, if you're low, you're coming to this game wanting to win. For me, it comes down to who Southern plays at quarterback. If they go with Bashawn McCray, he's been a little up and down for the season. That's Dooley's guy. He's been sticking with him for a couple games, had some bad games. For Grambling, are they committed to running the ball? They have more Reese Washington, probably one of the most dynamic backs in the SWAC. Can take it.
He balled out last year.
Oh, my goodness. But this year, you're looking for Maurice Washington to get about 15 to 20 carries. You want him to be in the 120-yard range to have a freshman quarterback. You don't want to put this game on a freshman quarterback to come into the SuperDome and win a game for you. At the end of the day, it can go up and down because Bashawn McCray can put you in a hole really fast, throwing bad passes, fumbling the ball, and Grambling's defense is opportunistic. They're not bad, they're not perfect, but they're opportunistic.
Well, it's, of course, first season for both coaches.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eric Dooley and Hugh Jackson. And it for both of them, it has been a new experience. For Hugh, totally new experience.
Absolutely.
For Dooley, playing for Grambling, coaching at Southern for 14 years, and now being the head coach.
And you saw them at the luncheon, how rowdy they got. I got a feeling. So this means a lot to Dooley. And I think the problem with Hugh Jackson's team is he's brought in so many outsider kids from Cali. They don't understand what this game means to a Baton Rouge kid or a kid from the boot. So trying to get your kids up for a game they've never experienced or never known the impact is going to be hard for Hugh.
Well, I do think that what we've seen, Hugh Jackson coming in, obviously Dion at Jackson State, them going undefeated, the amount of attention that has gone to this conference the excitement on social media as well has been just fascinating to watch.
It's amazing. I mean, the influx of attention and eyes brought on by Dion, brought on by Hugh Jackson, even brought on by Eric Dooley coming back to his Southern. He's like the prodigal child, coming back to Southern. Eddie Robb disciple, Pete Richardson disciple and everything like that. So I think this game is a cataclysmic of everything that's been happening over season. Dion doing what he's doing at Jackson, and having Hugh and Eric meet in the Bayou Classic. You couldn't ask for anything better if you're a SWAC commissioner.
Well, and I think one of the things that's also happened is you have people now who are actually talking about what happens on the field and not at halftime.
Absolutely. And, people came for the bands, and they left after the bands played. I went to my first Battle of the Bands here at the Bayou Classic last night, and it was an amazing experience. But for me, it's always going to come down to the football and who's the better team and who's more prepared.
Well, and again, I think you're seeing that increasingly where people are understanding, hey, the product on the field in those 4 quarters matters.
Absolutely. And you're seeing the commitment placed on by alums, fans, wanting to see their team take that next step and not be a redheaded stepchild to Jackson State. And everybody like, oh my God, Jackson State, and then everybody runs away scared.
Well, look, I think, again, for the last couple of seasons, you have seen that. And I think what it's also done, it is forced the other schools to get more aggressive when it comes to their social presence, when it comes to video, things along those lines, because you're trying to reach an entire new generation that was born in a social media world.
Absolutely. And you've preached about it on your platform ad nauseum. I've talked about it on mine, that you have to upgrade you can't keep thinking, and I love how you say that old Baptist church way in trying to come into the new millennium. You have to upgrade everything. And Deion, when he touched down in the SWAC, he showed them marketing one-on-one on what you need to do to get your social media game together. And you're not going to be at Jackson State because you don't have a Deion. But something is always better than nothing.
Absolutely. All right then, man. Scotty, I appreciate it, Doc. I tell folks where to watch it off script.
You can catch me on YouTube, Off Script, and you can catch me on social media, offscript_TV on Twitter and Instagram. Appreciate you always, Ro, and I'm hoping Grambling pulls up the upset.
All right, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, Scotty, thanks a bunch. All right, folks. Again, we're here at the 49th Annual Bayou Classic. Let's do this here. I'm going to go to a break. When we come back from the break, I'm going to show you some of the interviews that I did with, again, both presidents of Grambling Southern, both head coaches, also both athletic directors. We'll also talk to a couple of more folks from General Motors here as we're here in the fan zone here at the 49th Annual Bayou Classic between Grambling and Southern University. Folks, hit us up on social media. I'd love to hear from you. Also, don't forget to download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. You can also support us in what we do, joining our Brain and Funk fan club, P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered. PayPal is R Martin Unfiltered. Of course, Venmo is RM Unfiltered. Zelle is rolling at rollingthesmartin.com. Rolling at rollingmartinunfiltered.com. We'll be right back. All right.
The new GMC Sierra, premium and capable. That's professional grade.
All right, folks, welcome back to this broadcast from the 49th Annual Bayou Classic, Grambling versus Southern here in New Orleans, outside the Caesars Superdome. You see one of the high school bands performing over there right now. The parade just actually took place, and so folks are here. And, of course, rain is coming down, so it has kept some folks inside from waiting to come out. Folks are waiting in cars, things along those lines. And so all of that is happening as we speak. In a moment, we're going to be, again, showing you some of the interviews that we actually conducted with various officials from both universities. I chatted with them on yesterday. Great conversation with a number of them. Right now, though, I want to talk to someone who is, of course, with General Motors. She's the Director of Diversity Marketing and Development. Tarshina Armstrong, she joins us right now. She's get it together. I know. That's why we brought the tent. See, we come prepared, knowing full well we don't assume it's going to be sunny, and that's why we do what we do, always. And so I talked to David earlier, and he said y'all are in the second year of your work with the SWAC.
Absolutely. You know, this is a special day that I went into our sponsorship agreement with SWAC. So it was March 17th of last year. We signed a multi-year deal with the Southwest Athletic Conference, and it has been magical ever since. You know, building a pipeline with students, representing the community here on site, it's been magical.
So when you say a multi-year deal, what does that entail?
So we have a 3-year sponsorship with the SWAC. So we are activating at multiple athletic games. So we have football season. Last year we did men's and women's basketball tournament. We're doing soccer and things of that nature. Not just football. We're doing athletic programs all throughout the SWAC.
And so in terms of that outreach, what is the benefit that you've seen, not just in terms of on the field, but again, connecting with those students or alumni?
You know, it has been great. We have a program, a scholarship program, and an internship program called the Discover the Unexpected program, sponsored by our Chevy brand. And last year, we needed students for this program. And so we reached out to the SWAC, we reached out to a lot of the presidents, and we got some great candidates to come into GM to intern for the summer. They were able to get $10,000 in scholarships. They were able to get a $5,000 stipend and to gain some of that experience in corporate America. It was for journalism and marketing majors. So we had an opportunity for them to also partner with the NNPA. They went out and they were assigned to some of the black press stations. They talked about electrification. They were highlighted in one of our commercials, just demystifying some of the pain points of electric vehicles. So it was great. And we got to hire some of those students. So those seniors, we had an opportunity, those who excelled, they're going to be coming and working for GM next year.
Now, what was the, again, y'all have done other things. We were talking about some of you here at Dillard.
And actually the program. So we have a diverse agency called Carol H. Williams. They're the Chevrolet marketing agency of record.
No, Carol. First of all, no. Let me hear. Carol H. Williams, a black-owned agency. And the reason I can say that because Carol is my wife's aunt.
Really?
Yeah. So no. So if I had to call Carol being like, hey, wait a minute, this is who I am, based out of Oakland, one of the legends, advertising Hall of Fame, and an absolute legend in the advertising industry.
So it was a pleasure because Carol actually was on set with us at Dillard University. We had all 11 students on set. We had the Bolt EUV and literally black excellence with these young students. They had hair, they had makeup. We also had Terrence Day, who was our program ambassador. We had a STEM expert, Justin Schaefer, who was on site. So we built a lot of content. It's actually, if you want to see it, you can go on to the NNPA.com/DTU to see all of our content that we filmed over the summer. So we had our media partners leaned in and amplify it. We also had an opportunity to do some interviews with some of our chief engineers. So the students all got to interview some of our GM personnel about electrification, and they have a content piece called What's Cool About Electric. So they lean into the price point of charging, of range, of affordability within the black community. So they really tapped into why it's great to own a EV.
Now, the partnership with the NNPA, they have been, writing stories? What have they been doing? What is the NNPA partnership?
So the NNPA partners with us on the Chevy Discover the Unexpected program. We're entering to the 7th year of the program for 23. So check out our applications are going to go live in January for the NNPA DTU program. So they lean in. It's really a 360 program. We lean into pipeline development, EV leadership, and also our commitment to black-owned media. So definitely a 360.
Well, obviously, what we're now seeing is, as we're moving forward, a commitment from a number of different folks to electric vehicles. And so the folks out here, so what are they actually signing up for out here?
Yes, so we have, you can't see it, but we have a 20-feet riser here, and the 20-feet riser has our GMC Sierra AT4, but on the riser is wrapped with all of our transition to our electric future. It's raining right now, but in our activation when it's dry, we've mirrored the electrification transition to helmet technology. So we go from the original helmet to our current technology with helmets to really parallel the transition of technology. We also, which is phenomenal, have our Hummer EV that's here on site, one of our phenomenal vehicles under the GMC brand. And we also have an opportunity for our consumers to come in. You can make customized buttons with your team of choice, so Grambling and Southern and your SWAC buttons. But, you know, one thing that we want to do is stay in touch. So if you're interested in a General Motors vehicle, you can go and you can sign up. But ultimately, we have an opportunity for everyone here to win a $50,000 vehicle of your choice. It's called our Gridiron Giveaway.
Now, you have to be here, of course, somebody who's watching.
No, you do not have to be here. We want you to be here, but you also can sign up on the SWAC website. And we are going, I think I'm getting a little wet here, but also you can sign up on the SWAC website and for that giveaway, but we're going to announce the winner next week at the championship game.
All right. Well, we'll actually be there as well for the SWAC championship. So looking forward to that. So, all right, cool. Sheena, thanks a bunch. All right, be sure to stay dry.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks a bunch. All right, folks. Again, we're here at the 49th annual Bayou Classic. It is first of all, that rain is definitely coming down. It's definitely coming down, and so we're fighting the rain as much as we can, trying to stay dry, and we also trying to get this set up here, and so to be able to connect. We did some great interviews with different people, so we're trying to get those to you, to show those to you, and so that's what we're working on as well. And so a whole lot happening here. And so what I want to do is, again, I want to come back in a second and share more with you. So let's do this here, folks. We're going to go to a commercial break, and then we come back. We'll have some of those interviews. Looks like the one of the bands actually is another one of the bands that are actually starting up right now. So let's do this here. Give me a shot of that if we can, and then we'll have some of that for you. So we'll just take this for about 2 or 3 minutes, then we go to a break. You're watching the Black Star Network for the 49th Annual Bayou Classic here in New Orleans. is here. All right, folks, we are here at the 49th annual Bayou Classic, Grambling versus Southern. The game is going to be starting in less than 2 hours. We're here in the Fan Fest. It is storms that's coming through. It's raining, and so the umbrellas, the ponchos are out. Yesterday, after the coaches' luncheon, I had a chance to catch up with several officials from Grambling and Southern. Let's first start off with Dr. Rick Gallo. He is the president of Grambling State University. Here is our conversation. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. I'm setting it up. All right. Give me one. All right. All right. Give me 1 second, folks. We're trying to figure out why we're not playing. Let's see. Let's get it all set. All right. For some reason, we can't get it to play. Let's see here. Anthony, go ahead and see, work with it there. Try to figure out what's going on, why it's not playing. And so we will have that for you in a second. Again, we talked to Rick Gallo, the new president of Southern University, the president and chancellor. Remember, he's the president of the Southern System, but also the chancellor of Southern University. Then, of course, Eric Dooley, Hugh Jackson, and others as well. And so it's been a little busy here. As I say, weather is not cooperating with us at all. It changes things. And so the parade was a little bit earlier. And so we, of course, broadcast that last year, and we're busy with that. And, again, we were hoping that the rain would hold off until 1 p.m., but it's been coming down. Let me check the radar right now to see what's going on, because the radar has been showing a lot. We've been having storms that have been coming in. Are we good to go now? Okay. All right, then let's do this here. We're going to now let's do this here. We're going to first let's hear from Hugh Jackson. Hugh Jackson, he is the president of Grambling State University. Here's my conversation with Hugh. First Bayou Classic.
Oh, wow. It's going to be fun. This is a tremendous event. I'm learning more and more about it every day. My players have told me what to expect. It's been more than I could ever imagine, but it's going to be fun.
Let's talk about your first season. Totally new experience for you. How's it been?
You know, it's been, like you said, it's been a first season of learning, to be very honest with you. But I'm excited about where we're headed and what we're doing. We played a lot of young players, Roland, so I'm excited about what we can become in the future. But now I know the conference, have a pretty good idea of exactly what's here, and we need to recruit to it.
One of the things that has been really interesting is just the level of attention that HBCU, SWAC in particular, has gotten, fan interest. Obviously, Deion being in the conference, you coming to the conference, and so talk about that as well, because you know the excitement and energy is really important for any program.
Oh, absolutely, and let's be very honest. Deion has really opened the door for what he's done in Jackson State. I commend him. The guy went undefeated, and he's done some tremendous things there. He's really brought the focus back to the HBCUs. Obviously, Eddie George, myself, Coach Simmons. There's a lot of really good coaches in this conference, and we should bring the eyes back here because there's some tremendous football being played.
But the thing that I keep telling people that is that on the field is one thing, but at the end of the day,
you also got to drive it off the field. And so one of the things that you've also done has driven a lot more social engagement with videos and photos as well to highlight the program, because this generation, that's where they're getting their information from.
You know, you just said it, Roland, and we have a brand, but we got to continue to build it, you know, and there's no question that G is symbolic across the world, but at the same time, we need to take it to another level, and I think everybody's got to understand that in this day and age of technology and people being able to see exactly what we're trying to do in real time, you should capitalize on that.
Resources are also important, so being able to connect with corporations, brands, that's important. The whole NIL thing as well. And so talk about that, what you've been able to also impress upon the university as taking that brand and really saying, okay, we have to actually monetize it and leverage it as best as we can.
You said it, Roland. We have to. And we got to do a better job of doing that, just being very honest with you everywhere, because I don't think we're really getting the best bang for our buck. You know, at the end of the day, we're still not being paid what's really rightfully ours. And so it's time to take the gloves off and roll up our sleeves and go to work and get what we all deserve. But I think it needs to be a conference thing. I think the conference has to understand that we can't be the little sisters anymore. We should ask for what's right and expect what's right and then go get what's right.
One of the things that Deanna talked a lot about, these classics, and a lot of people really didn't understand the few home games that you actually have. And so that's a huge thing about building your base, being able to have people come back to the campus, having them tailgate, having them experience or relive those days at Grambling. Talk about that moving forward. Are you trying to make sure that you're having more home games actually at home, so you have a home field advantage?
You just said it, Roland, and me and Dr. Scott have talked about that at length, and I'm sure I will speak with President Gallo about it, but we need to be at home a little bit more. When you have 3 games at home, but our first 6 were on the road. I mean, I've never heard of that. But at the same time, that's the schedule that was there. We can do better. We will do better. We need our fans to be seeing our football team a lot more in Grambling than they have. So we're going to make that adjustment.
All right, so let's look at next year or two. What's your primary focus?
Oh, man, getting this team better, building our brand even stronger, making sure that we capture the resources that I think it takes in order to be a big-time football program.
All right, Coach, always good to see you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, folks, that was Hugh Jackson, head coach of Grambling. We did, of course, have an opportunity to catch up with Eric Dooley, who is the first-year head coach at Southern. Here's our chat.
All right, good. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Coach, normally I'm the one rocking the ascot, so you decided to come out today in style.
Absolutely. This is just something I like doing. I'm not a tie guy, so I love the ascot.
I understand. Of course, and you all decked out at SWAC Media Day, so you've been keeping it going. So do you post your photos every week of your outfits?
I don't, but I have some guys. This is just me. Nothing that I look forward to doing, but some guys take pictures of it, and I guess they're posting it every week.
Okay, all right then. Let's talk about this game here. Last year was a thriller going down to the end. You guys came up short. You want some payback?
Well, you know, unfortunately I wasn't here, but I'm here now, and I'm the leader of the Jaguars, and I understand the magnitude of this game because I too played in this game at Grambling State under legendary Eddie Robinson, and then I had the opportunity my first 14 years to coach under Pete Richardson at Southern University. So I understand this magnitude of this game right here, and I look forward to it.
Of course, a few moments ago, you had your team with their chant, and Grambling came back. So a lot of energy in this room.
Absolutely. You know, at Bayou Classic bring a lot of excitement. You got guys that live in the same household on different sides of the team. You got family members. So, I mean, you got husband and wife. So I do understand this here.
Absolutely. Talk about how this season has gone for your team in your first year.
You know, not all together like I wanted to because I look for a lot of consistency. But I thought, you know, the team pulled it together when needed to be pulled together. But still some things we got to work on. I always like to tell the guys we got to scratch where it is at. And what I mean by that, we got to correct those things to make us a better football team. But the guys work hard and understand what we're looking for.
Just share your thoughts on how things have gone with the amount of attention that is now being put on HBCUs. A lot more discussion, a lot more excitement. Obviously, the attention that being as well. But it's overall, when you look on social media, when you look at people just really talking about not the halftime performance, but the actual football performance.
Absolutely. I love it. This is what I pray for. I'll say that. The reason why I say that because I've been in this conference a long time, close to 30 years, 30 plus years to be exact. But I had opportunity to go to other places, to FBS schools. I chose not to because I saw this vision coming a long time ago, and I wanted to be a part of it.
And when you talk about that vision, where do you want it to be?
I wanted to be the best conference in all of college football. I believe that it has the brand. Back when I played, you had guys that got drafted in the first round. When you talk about an Eddie Robinson football team at that time, he had over 200 NFL players. So we knew it was an opportunity that you can do that from that school. But more importantly, just the community, just the family love, just understanding the things that you can get at a university like a Southern University as well as a Grambling State University. So I don't think it's no place like it.
And when you're out there now, when you're talking to players, are you seeing players who in the past might have said, nah, I'm not interested in a SWAT school, now saying, you know what, I absolutely want to consider and going to a Southern or one of the or HBCU?
The attention is great, but I have to say this here. Even back when I first started in the 90s, they had guys like that. I know taking guys from some major institutions that wanted to come. The publicity wasn't there. The coverage wasn't there. Right. So, of course, you didn't know of that taking place. But when you talk about a Pete Richardson football team, he has some football players.
Going forward, and that is obviously you're coaching for Southern, your first Bayou Classic. What do you want these players, when their playing days are over, you played in it, what do you want them to remember about this game and putting on that blue and gold?
That it was special. Not many institutions of this magnitude get an opportunity to play on national television in a spotlight time like this here. So not only is it an interview for you to go to the next level, it's an interview in the job marketing because, so many individuals watch this here. I told them about the story of Sam George, who's our starting quarterback. By playing in the Bayou Classic, Jamie Foxx contacted one of our assistant coaches. There you have it. He played in that movie.
There you go. All right, then.
All right.
Coach, good luck. I appreciate it. All right. Hold on. We'll get a quick photo.
Was Eric Dooley, head coach of Southern University, and so it was great to chat with him. Dr. Scott is the athletic director at Grambling University. Actually came from Southern. He also is operating in his first year. We talked to him last year, and so we pick up again that conversation, and here it is.
All right, we're here for another year of the Bayou Classic. So last year, you were barely in the seat.
Yes.
All right, so talk about this year. You had a whole year under your belt.
Yeah, so a little bit of a change. Obviously, last year when we spoke, we were going through a coaching change. I tell a story all the time. It was after this event where Coach Jackson and I really had our first opportunity to interview. Just from there to now, I think it's been a great turnaround in terms of the leadership and where we are team-wise. Now, that hadn't necessarily been reflected in wins and losses, but obviously with football, you have a little bit more of a process where you have to build and gain. And so, so far so good for Coach Jackson in his first year. For me, just in totality in terms of the athletic department, obviously, there's been a bit of a struggle, push and pull with some of the decisions that I made. But, I'm going to stand on them at all times. I think they were the right decisions. Whether we hired or fired or did whatever we did, I think, we have to take ownership and understand that we make decisions that are in the best interest of not only the athletics department, but the institution as well.
Obviously, when we talk about athletics, it takes money.
Absolutely.
To run departments. And so what has been your focus with your personnel to get them to understand that how things were done in the past cannot be how things are done in the future?
Absolutely. So the number one quote, my pet peeve that burns me up is the way it was always done, right? And having having been employed now at two sister institutions, is something that is not necessarily reflective of the institution. Sometimes it's reflective of some of the personnel. And so when you come in with a new philosophy, obviously there's a new culture. We talk about culture almost like a cruise ship, right? You talk about the Titanic. Well, what happened with the Titanic? It hit an iceberg, but it didn't hit the part that it saw. It hit the part that it didn't see, right? And so you're going so fast, you got to slow down and turn the boat. So that's culture. And so that process in and of itself has been one that we've really been intentional about changing and altering. Also while keeping, like I said, the right people on the boat, and understanding that as we move forward, we have to take hold to this process and be intentional about it moving forward to get us further faster.
Coach Jackson talked about the G, if you will, and that is a symbol that is known across the country and the world. But how do you also redefine that in the 21st century for the folks who know nothing about Eddie Roberts, who know nothing about what Grambling used to be?
Well, here's your issue. You've got a legacy of a man who spent 56 years of his life building and branding that iconic G that we see on helmets, on polos, and on other memorabilia. You also have this new generation of NIL and cost of attendance and social media and immediate gratification. Where our challenge is to make sure, of course, that we can kind of blend both generations.
The new GMC Sierra, premium and capable. That's professional grade.
All right, folks, welcome back. I had technical difficulty here. It is, just so you understand, in terms of what we're looking at here, in terms of the weather, you may not be able to see. This is the weather radar. That gives you a sense of what the storm's moving through. So you see all of that. That's the actual live Doppler radar. And so all that yellow and red stuff, that's the bad stuff. And so luckily it's moving away from us. And so that's why you're seeing here. And so the fan zone here, a lot of folks got the umbrellas out trying to rush inside to stay dry. And so I know I play golf, always got the radar with me. And so those are the conditions that we're dealing with here. Storms, and as you see, pretty much covering all of Louisiana. And so if I pull this out, we're talking about Louisiana, Texas, massive storms. And so luckily it's not severe storms. It's just a steady rain. And folks, and so again, hopefully they can stay dry. So let's do this here. Before we left, we were talking to the AD at Grambling. Now we'll hear from the AD at Southern University. And so here's our conversation with the athletic director at Southern University. All right, trying to get that straight. Let's see here. That one's not playing for me. So here's the president of Southern University.
This experience, talk about it.
Well, first of all, New Orleans is one of my favorite cities even before I came to Louisiana. But the passion of these two fan bases and the party they want to have here is pretty incredible.
Absolutely. Of course, when it comes to classes, the granddaddy of them all. And walk through the last year has been for you leading the university, and then now, of course, culminating end of the year with this.
So I took on the role as president of the system and chancellor of the campus in July. So it hasn't even been a year.
There you go.
Okay. So the first few months is just learning and walking around, meeting people, figuring out the stuff that's important to learn, and connecting with the culture of the institution. And then, you know, over the next few months, trying to put a plan together that moves the institution forward.
And on that particular point, I mean, what we are seeing is we're seeing a lot of attention, a lot of focus, obviously, on HBCUs from philanthropic organizations, from corporate organizations as well. But what is your message to Southern about how they have to be operating moving forward? Because there are a lot of places that say, hey, this is the Southern way, this is the Grambling way, but there's also a new way to operate towards moving in the future.
Well, you have to be realistic. I mean, you can't throw off the culture and act like it's irrelevant.
Right.
At the same time, I'm going to sort of say, what are the challenges that are in front of us? A lot of it's revenue streams.
Yep.
Okay? And so we have to be attentive to diversifying our revenue stream. Now, the good news, as you've mentioned, is that we're at an inflection point where there probably hasn't been as much interest at the federal level and in business and industry in supporting HBCUs. So we got to get in front of them and execute. I mean, we just had a board meeting this morning, and I think we announced almost $3.5 million worth of gifts to the various campuses in our system. We need to double that annually. So that's the challenge. And we shouldn't think about it as being contrary to our culture.
Right.
I mean, if you look around, one of the reasons why this is going on is that the alumni of these HBCUs from the last 30 years have been tremendously successful, and they're in key positions in government and in business and industry, and they're waiting for us to call on them.
Right. In fact, I was talking to a brother the other day who's a significant person in media, and he said, I graduated from HBCU. He said, and they haven't approached me. And he was like, I'm not understanding why they haven't.
And that's the challenge. So my role is to do that. But everybody down 2 or 3 levels into the organization has to understand that's part of their role. You can't be the dean of a college and just think, I'm going to deal with what's on in the college. Right. Because if you're the dean of business, you know, all these companies want access to this talent and want to support, so you got to be outwardly facing to engage them.
Right. But what is what's the one thing that you were most surprised taking over? That stood out.
Well, the one thing that's most surprising, I'm not going to talk about. That doesn't get me into trouble. All right. I would say, you know, I've been in higher education for 40 years, and I've worked at places like Duke and Michigan, and I'm an Iowa guy, so I'm the University of Iowa. The passion that the folks have for their institutions, these HBCUs, is like on steroids as opposed to those places. And I think I kind of expected that, but until you sort of are immersed in it, you don't realize what that's like. So that's probably been the biggest surprise.
One of the things that conversations that I've had with a lot of different people is that when they talk about how do you now redefine and change the focus. Oftentimes when you see these stories being done, when you see the focus being done, in really mainstream media, so much of the attention is on bands, is on Greek life, and others say, well, you know, that's not solely what the universities are all about. And so part of it also is, when you talk about establishing what the brand is saying it goes beyond just those 2 facets. Those are important, but that's not what the institution is solely made of.
So what's the institution? What should we about? Well, for me, it's the outcomes for students. Every student that comes in the door has a reason to expect that they'll be well educated and complete their degree. So that's number one. That student experience, I think is central to the HBCU mission, right? Number 2, we have to be stewards of place. Where our institutions are located, we can't act like what's going on around us is not relevant to what we do. So we have to find ways to help the towns, neighborhoods, cities, states where we're located thrive and find ways to do that. And it won't be the same for every institution, but that's critical. The third thing is we have stakeholders. And we have to be attentive to them because particularly as public institutions, we've always thought it was the state's obligation. Well, for better or worse, that support is not where it was at one time. And in the case of public HBCUs, it's lagged what it should have been for decades.
From the beginning.
So we can sit there and worry about that, or we can say, hey, there are other places that we can go to sustain ourselves. It's like any good business. You don't depend on your support to come from one stream, because if that stream goes away, that's it. You're lost. So we have to expand that.
Yep.
So that's part of what we have to do.
All right. Well, look, certainly good luck.
Okay.
And I appreciate it. And I look forward to your first Bayou Classic.
Okay.
All right. Thanks so much.
Sir.
I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Yep. All right.
All right, folks, that is President Dennis Shields. That is it for us, folks. Again, we got a massive storm that's coming through, so we're going to shut this down early. We're going to replay this, share with you more of these interviews here from the 49th Annual Bayou Classic. Game time, folks, is in about an hour. Game is on NBC. And so we appreciate all of y'all are watching. Don't forget, I'll be broadcasting live from Georgia on Monday. Next week, Road to the SWAC Championship will be in Jackson, Mississippi next Saturday for a pregame show as well. You don't want to miss that as well. So let me thank the folks for General Motors for partnering with us here at the 49th Annual Bayou Classic in New Orleans. Folks, have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Holla!
The new GMC Sierra. Premium and capable. That's professional grade.